Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dream Do Done, your accountability show from process to progress with the unstoppable trifecta of brilliance on Mondays at 1-ish Eastern Standard Time. I am joined by the how-to coach, Tamara Hartley, the pulpit trick, Serena Brown Travis, and my name is Dr. Stacie N.C. Grant, and I'm the Chief Faithpreneur. So welcome to the second to last in the month of June. We've been broadcasting for a year and a half. So I feel like, I just love to celebrate. So it's our anniversary. It's a year and a half anniversary. We're still, I just need an excuse for a turn up, honey. So
Wait, Stacie and her month-long celebration. So we'll be celebrating all month.
I mean, the fact that you all get me and you love me in spite of my crazy is just so wonderful.
We love it.
Welcome to the show. I'm going to turn it over to the how-to coach so she can share her greetings. Make sure that you let us know you're here. Drop a comment in, share the broadcast out. We have exciting things that we're going to continue to be sharing with you, and the content that is helpful to you. We appreciate that you let us know that, because not only do we have fun, because we're going to meet anyway. We're going to have our conversations anyway. We're here with you because we're giving you a peek into how we operate, what we do, and the lessons that we've learned that can really be valuable to you in your growth and development. So thank you for being here. Hey, Patricia, how you doing, sis? So good to see you. Thank you for joining in, and looking forward to seeing you at Faithpreneur weekend. So thank you so much. So Tamara, go ahead and greet the family while I check in and see who is joining us today.
Well, happy Monday, everyone. I hope you all had a great Father's Day weekend. And, Father's Day threw me off because I'm just used to it being earlier in the month. So when Stacie was like, it's the last, I'm like, what? We still in June? Next weekend, I think, is like the 4th of July weekend. And it just doesn't make sense to me. The time is passing so swiftly. But happy Monday. I hope you all had a great week. Happy to be here with my sisters as usual, but I cannot help but share things like this. So you do know we just had a 2-hour meeting before the show. When Stacie says we need to get things done, that is what we do. So we are coming off of that. So I think each of us is kind of hyped right now because we got some work done, which is always a great thing. But happy Monday. Glad to be here.
Awesome. And over to you, pulpit chick, Serena Brown Travis. And yes, happy Father's Day. Stephen just joined. Stephen, I hope you enjoyed your Father's Day. Yeah. He said he did. Hey, Ross, thanks for tuning in. All right, pulpit chick, what do you have to say to the people this morning?
Well, first of all, happy Father's Day to all of our men who follow us. We're always so grateful for you. Happy Father's Day to my father, the big head guy you see right behind me. And so, you know what? It was a great weekend. I celebrated my husband. I celebrated my father, of course. And, just a great weekend, there are absolutely no complaints. So, again, I'm just happy to still be here with you all, and to share this opportunity with my sisters. And speaking of having an hour or 2-hour session before the show, it gives you no time to do anything. Like, we were having fun. So then it's like, oh, we got to log off. Then we have to take care of personal. I'm over here trying to put on earrings real quick. So it don't get no realer than this. That's really hard. Did y'all see me do it? I'm sitting up here like, all right, come on, get in, find the hole.
Well, that's the truth, right? This is reality TV in its best way, because we're not scripting it. This is the real deal of how we live, how we get work done, and we hold ourselves accountable because we know how busy we are doing what we do. So that is wonderful. Stephen says seeing my daughter endorsed by the New York Post was the icing on the cake. Oh, yeah. Well, great Father's Day. Yes, his daughter is running for office in the Bronx, New York. BX all day. That's where I grew up. So I'm excited for her and wishing her the absolute best. And my Father's Day celebration was great. My father's like, every day he believes like I do. Every day is Father's Day, it's Mother's Day. And, I just love to tease him on what a joy each time one of us came into the world to make him a father. But anyway, my father thinks I need help. That's out for discussion, but whatever. And then my husband decided that he wanted to spend the day being a part of a march. It was a Black Man's March that was organized in our community, and he wanted our boys to join him in the march. So of course, it wasn't just men. So I was there to support them, and we had a great time just being with community and just being around each other in a loving way that we could appreciate all of the trauma we've been experiencing publicly. It was just wonderful to see young, old, multiple generations out just talking and speaking about the issues of the day that are important and peacefully doing it. And it was just a wonderful way to start off Father's Day. And then let me tell you, I thank God for my little sister. I love her because she is the celebration queen. Like, she will make every holiday like just a dream. But she had the nerve and the audacity. This has nothing to do with Dream Do Done, so y'all pay for me. It's a rant. To text me and my husband to say that she learned how to play spades and she's about to whoop us. And, she's going to dethrone us because everybody knows that we're spades champions. Like, what the what? I said, no, she didn't. That's why I didn't teach her how to play before I'd have patience. And if any spades players know you can't have a novice up on the board when you're trying to hit. My Assemblywoman Hyman, oh Lord, my Assemblywoman is here. Let me behave. But that's also my sister. So, so she had the nerve to text us. So after the march, we had a wonderful family day and dinner. And then it was on. The spade.
How did she do? How did she do?
She did pretty well. I was like, she did pretty well, but we still whooped her. But she did pretty well. But in the future, I can see how she can be my partner. I just need to teach her a few things so she know how to read the board properly. But so that's aside from our normal Dream Do Done conversation. Pray for me. But I just had to say, she tried to challenge me. Anybody that knows me knows don't talk crap about sex.
So wait a minute now. The Pulpit chick got to get one in. You play cards on Sunday?
I play cards on Sunday. Lord knows the truth. I play cards on Sunday. I gave him my worship time, and then I had some time to play cards.
Okay.
That's what our Dream Do Done show. You never know what might pop out of our mouths. In addition to the topic, and the topic for today is really looking at how you're leveraging what it is that you are really focused on right now, right? Taking inventory on where you are, because so much is happening in the world simultaneously that we can't just live in one vertical. We really have to look at all the things that are affecting us and that are impacting us, especially our communities. Every time I look at these numbers on not just the economy and of course how COVID-19 has shown all the disparities, that's the buzzwords. COVID-19 has shown all the disparities in Black and brown community. Hello, we've been living this all our lives. Finally, people are paying attention, but we not only are responsible for consuming information, it's the action behind it. So these marches, these rallies, we're planning one for this coming Saturday in the neighborhood with D9 organizations and communities and churches, because we have to keep the issues at hand up front. Businesses are suffering. The economy is challenged. People have been laid off from work. They've been furloughed or let go. So how do we now look at where we are and take inventory on what we need to do so that we can successfully complete this year, not just surviving, but thriving? Because in the midst of all this, people are still making money.
That's right.
Stephen said people lose their black card over spades. You know what I'm saying, Stephen?
Listen, relationships are over if you renege. I mean, like, you had that the whole time.
Right. And spades are very serious in my household as well. I remember my daughter, she's 18 now, but she learned how to play when she was like 7. And I remember one day her dad was her partner. She didn't want him to be her partner. And she told him before we got started, now look, Dad, don't be reneging because I do not like that. At 7.
At 7 years old. So
that's right.
A cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. I don't know if people understand if you're not, a Black African American, even in the Caribbean, we play dominoes. So that's a little bit different. Like dominoes gets a little hectic too for all of my Caribbean family. But spades, and then if you really want to get deep, it's bitwist.
Yeah.
When you go down south. So I had to learn about bitwist, and I talk, and I'm a trash talking player.
And you gotta talk trash. You have to talk trash.
You have to.
If you don't talk trash, look, if you're not talking trash, it's like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You got an attitude? No, I'm concentrating.
but back to our topic. I'm sorry I had to take us there on the spades thing because I was really like, no, my sister did. And my husband was like, did you see this? So we were throwing memes back and forth like, oh no, she didn't. But anyway, back to the importance of looking and taking inventory right now. Here's the challenge. You have to have fun. You have to have some levity, right? And if you're not enjoying what you're doing every day, it's going to make it harder. And what we're facing right now is not a sprint. There's not going to be 2 or 3 protests and everything is glorious. It's not going to be 1 or 2 laws passed and everything is healed. It's not going to be some infusions of aid that's given from the government and everyone's back in business. This is a marathon. And it's a marathon of issues and information and change and reform that's going to take a period of time. So through it all, you have to have a little levity just for your sanity. And once you move past that, it's really looking at what you are doing. What do you need? What do you have in place? Is there a consistent way that income is coming into your household? Is there a way that your business can survive and really use the time that we're in to get your house in order? Things that you need to be able to take advantage of what's coming, that you're in a position to do that. So taking inventory is really important right now with where you are personally. As a family, there might be different priorities that you have to pursue, right? Family vacation might not look the way you want it to look for 2020. So how are you going to reposition and still take some downtime as a family to enjoy one another, but be mindful of saving and looking at how you might need to prepare for the final 2 quarters of the year. So these are serious conversations that we're challenging everyone to really think about. How are you taking inventory and what does not just shift and pivot? We've been talking about that, but what tangible things can you do to ensure that you're able to survive these perilous times that we're living in? I'll kick it over to you, Serena. I see you got something burn up in the spirit.
You're so funny. Well, I think one of the most important things is, even as business owners, that we understand that one size doesn't fit all. That's number one, and always be ready to pivot. So I was reading a case study on KFC, and as we know, KFC, their tagline is "It's finger licking good." Well, we're in the midst of Corona, and we know that we're not even supposed to. We can barely have our hands up to our mouths and lips. So they have to make some changes. And so, as long as when you create your business, you're always ready to pivot, your heart and soul is not attached to a tagline, to have a few taglines so that if something does happen, you can immediately shift and still keep your customers, retain your customers. One of the things for my little small carryout restaurant, it is small. Now, we know sometime if it's raining outside, we don't care nothing about social distancing, right? It's like we're going to all crowd into this one space. So I've had to, make little jokes or, put up signs. Remember when we thought we couldn't get it? Well, we see that we can. So, we encourage masks. So just think on your feet, use comedy and humor to, continue to push your business forward. We would be mortified if we continue to see KFC say it's finger licking good and to see someone licking their fingers. That would completely turn us off. And so it was a very interesting case study in terms of what you do in the meantime to make sure your business can still thrive, and you have relevant taglines to bring people in, to meet them right where they are emotionally. Right now, people are scared. People are afraid of losing their jobs. Maybe they're afraid of losing their homes. And so to have a sensitive, maybe sometime you can use humor, but to have sensitive areas and sensitive languaging to still allow people to be your customers. So just make sure you're flexible. My father always says, make sure you're flexible and adaptable, because in an instance, anything can change. You've got to be ready.
Absolutely. And Tamara, I know you had some thoughts on this as well.
Yeah. So one of the things that it really just hits home to me, I just found out during this time, there are so many things that Tamara can live without. Sometimes we're so eager and rushing to do the next thing and to buy the next shiny object. I just really found that there are things that I can do without, but still being in that spirit of wanting money to be circulating in my life and in my business, I decided to take some of the money that I've been saving on some things I don't need and to do some of the things that I do need. So when you talk about taking inventory, I've been able to take inventory of things that I really need to invest in, I need to do for my business, I found some new software, some new applications. We found some new programs that never dreamed you done. So really taking inventory to see where you can shift. So Serena's about being flexible. I'm all about shifting monies and doing something else. I definitely believe in saving, but like I said, I'm saving so much because I can live without some things that I didn't think I could live without, and put those monies in someplace else. So just shifting things and being able to still find ways to make revenue by shifting some of my things. So I'm still investing in myself, still investing in software and programs, but I'm also really thinking about what other ways to add some revenue streams to this thing I call my enterprise.
But that's important. Like when you talk about taking inventory, you said some of the things you can live with versus some of the things that you can't. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to say, no, I don't need that because we just like to have it. But we're living in the reality that we're living in. Certain things aren't a priority anymore, right? When it comes to making sure that you can make ends meet. If you have a business that has payroll, you have to pay people. You know, if you have, you know, recurring accounts or ongoing monthly expenses that need to be kept, those things become priority. And you have to really just take real close inventory on how you're spending your time and your resources when we don't know what's ahead. We trust that those who have been in position, those who've been doing the work during these 3 months of this global pandemic will be in a positive position in order to still gain market share, to still make money. But then how do we think about those who don't have? Because we can't ignore it, right? It'll come to your door, right? You can't ignore it. So how do we look at, okay, so the economy is horrible. Businesses are not able to function. How can they reimagine how business works? Can they collaborate? Can they put $50 and $50 and $50 together so they don't just have $50, they now collectively have $150? And what can be done with that $150? How can we now put ourselves in a position where we're able to collectively do what we do, especially in our community with cooperative economics? This is not a new concept for Black and Brown people. We've just had challenge with implementing it on a consistent basis so that we're not depending on one person to come and save us or one, you know, loan to come through. We're taking in and utilizing things that we've had for years in a very intentional way. I don't know, people call it different things. I know for Jamaicans it's called a susu. And if you have the susu, everybody put in their money for the susu. And then who draw them hand, take them hand of the money, and then use it. And then everybody keeps contributing to the susu every month or every week, depending on how that's set up. That's cooperative economics. That somebody needs a hit on this week, and then the next week is your turn, and the week after that it's the next person. We have to start looking at some of the tried and true ways that we've been able to still survive the economic challenges that are not new to Black and Brown people, right? We've always had situations. COVID-19 has just made everybody's situation worse, but there are ways in which we can take inventory and what can we do? Do we have a group of business owners that we work with that we can trust to say, look, we have revolving expenses that are happening every month. You know, what's a fair amount that each of us can invest on a monthly basis, and that we turn that around every single month so nobody's suffering, everybody's meeting their expenses, and we're recycling those dollars in our community. Those are the kind of conversations I want to have, right? You have to move past the trauma and the anger of what we're seeing and get to the facts. The facts are, we've been here before, but there's something turning in our global consciousness. There's something turning in our conversations that prayerfully, the path that has already been and examples that have already been laid from Black Wall Street to us starting and building pyramids and creating what real civilization is. You know, our beginning didn't start with the Mayflower, nor did it start with the slavery stories that we hear. So when we talk about us as businesses, we come from a rich tradition of ingenuity. So now's the time for us to draw in and pray the ancestors down low, like, baby, we died for this, right? We sacrificed for this. You have what you need to be able to create a way forward. And there are multiple ways to do it. We're not here to try to say it's this way or not, and this is the only way. There are collective conscious conversations that we can have to take control and inventory of what we already can utilize in this moment to be able to survive and thrive.
Wait a minute. So, I just wrote this down. Look, I done wrote on an envelope. When things hit the spirit, you don't care what you write on. I'm like, I done wrote on an envelope. But this is what I heard from Dream to Done today. And I'm like, this just sums it up, really, if you think about this. So, how to survive this economic challenge? You got to be flexible. You got to take inventory so you know where to shift. And you got to collaborate and participate in cooperative economics. I'm like, that's a program. That's something right there. That's a solution right there. So you're going to be hearing about that. That's powerful. I'm like, wow.
It's the truth. Steven said, my daughters have one for their business and we all contribute. Now that's powerful, right? It's not a new concept. It's a concept that a lot of people have been doing. I know people who have used that concept to buy their homes, right? That they've been doing a susu for a year, 2 years, and it's helped them create revenue to purchase homes, to invest in businesses. These are the things that we should be talking about, the conversations that we should be having, that the stock market hasn't completely crashed. There are people still making money on the stock market, right? Serena's nodding her head because she watches those stocks on a daily basis, right?
So and she tries to look out for her sister too, because she texts like, all right, now you gotta be paying attention to this.
Liz, I bet y'all gonna be sick when I give you the
update. Oh goodness.
So that's important, like to have those conversations. But if you're not having conversations with the right people, Dream Do Done is about bringing this conversation forward for you to move past it would be nice to be debt free. It'd be nice to own a home. It'd be nice to start a business. The dream is great, but you have to start doing something. And in the doing, you're able to celebrate the completion, which is getting it done. And our time here with you, I know we're a little comical from time to time because that's just our personality, but it's about moving you to action. There's a process. And the people that tune in and are so kind to share this out and add their influence, like Steven is always dropping nuggets and information in here, right? Contributing and bringing information to the group, or just sharing what Weibo is doing, or samples and examples. That's what's going to get us through this time. Watching what we listen to, what we ingest, and what we digest, so that we can put ourselves in a position where we're growing and we can see the process to get to the progress. Nobody just wakes up and everything is perfect. You have to do something. I say it all the time, nothing works unless you do. So let's take inventory and let's write it in the feed. Those of you that are watching today, what have you been taking inventory on? What are the things that you're looking at? How is it shaping up and helping you to be in a position to win? And we want to work from a win-win model. One person doesn't have to lose for the next person to win. We can all win if we're collectively thinking about structured ways and using our time wisely. Who has time to waste? I don't have time to waste.
And to put it into perspective, none of us have any time to waste.
and that's so important. We really have to think about how and what we have to use. Going back to something that I shared before, where's the vessels? Where's the oil? Are we filling the vessels? Like, what are we doing in this moment? So let me see what everyone else is saying. Hey, Roz, thank you for being here and contributing. And Paulo, hey, you're in Japan. Now, see what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Like Paulo Santos, you're in Japan and you're tuning in. That just says volumes, right? At 2 a.m., either you're having trouble sleeping or you're like, wait a minute, this sounds like a show that can help me think differently about what's going on, because this global pandemic has reached every country. There's nowhere on this globe that this pandemic has not touched, and it's affecting economies in different ways. And if you're in Japan and you're working and doing, I just applaud you. Thank you for joining in the show. Please go to dreamdodone.com so you can get additional information. We'll be putting up some of the replays from past shows, because this has been a content-rich experience. We've gotten testimonials that we have to start highlighting about people who've listened to the show and who've actually started taking action, and they move from dreaming and doing, and they're actually getting it done. Hey, Patricia, she said her inventory of her contracts. Who can she collaborate with? Exactly.
Absolutely, that's good.
Patricia, there's no need for us to be sitting here trying to figure it out by ourselves. Who can we work with? The three of us are collaboration. We're an example. We have 3 different brands that we're working on, that we're advancing, but we come together, collaborate on Dream Do Done and other activities that we can support one another. They're part of my Faithpreneur weekend conference that's coming up. We're part of helping Serena with all of the buzz that's going to happen around Positive Words Only. The How To Coach is launching a series of programs and information. So we're collaborating while still building the thing that we have. So that's excellent, Patricia. Thank you for sharing that. But you know, the time sure does go when you're having fun.
I know, we had so much fun.
And you know, we appreciate you letting us take it a little left when I had to talk about the spades game, because that was a situation like, how dare she challenge me? But I would have let both of our co-hosts give their final thoughts on just taking inventory where we are in the world, what we're looking at. It's not a time to be silent or complicit, right? We really have to be a part of being on the right side of history. When all is said and done and everything is written about 2020, you want your voice, your platform, your brand to have added to the positive discourse that causes revolutionary change in how we live, how we do to fight for humanity and equality for all people. So that's my prayer, that we move to that point as we progress through 2020. And I will turn it over to the Pulpit Chick for her comments. And then I'll shout out the rest of those who are tuning in. And then Tamara Hartley is going to close us out and tell you how you can stay connected with us.
Fair enough. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, it was a pleasure to be with you today. I think it's safe to say that our lives will never be the same again. Be it with our masks, be it with our gloves, be it with us carrying around hand sanitizer wherever we go. And so with that being said, our business lives will never be the same again. And learning how to pivot, learning how to shift, learning looking at small areas to find an opportunity. That is what we're doing together. And so we appreciate you sharing this time with us. And we're learning and we're all growing together. So thank you so much for being with us today. And I know that as soon as I get off this phone call, I have to go pick up some cookies that this lady may sell in our restaurant. So I'm excited to go pivot and shift and get some chocolate chip cookies and see if it's a win-win opportunity for us. But nonetheless, we thank you and have a wonderful week.
Awesome.
Yes. And I just want to add too, you know, sometimes I know when you look at the three of us and we're here every Monday and we're talking about some of the things that we're doing, and sometimes it can be overwhelming if you're just starting out and you're in the process of trying to figure out what it is you want to do or need to do. I just want to encourage you too, when you take self-inventory, it's not a time to be overly critical of yourself. It really is just examining who you are, where you are, and what you have to contribute. How can you do exactly what it is you want to do? How can you help? How can you contribute to what's going on? It's not a time to be critical of yourself. It's just really a time to take action. And that's what we want to inspire you to do. Don't think that we're trying to say you're not where you're supposed to be. We're just trying to help you get to where you're going. So make sure you tune to our website, dreamdodone.com. We have some exciting things. Like we said, we were on this phone 2 hours before we got to you today just to plan some things out. You know, one of the things we try to do is to be an example. We're always working. We're always doing. It's a journey, process and progress. And once we complete one thing, we go on to the next. And that's just what we do. And we hope that you are inspired by our journeys as well. So have a great week. We love you. And we will talk with you soon.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.